John Milton described the marriage of Adam and Eve in Paradise Lost. The angel married Adam and Eve. They did not yet know shame and therefore were naked. After marriage, the couple made love for the first time. And in this first act of love, there was no sin. But Satan was watching them. Soon Satan, in the form of a serpent, tempted Eve to eat fruit from the tree of knowledge. And Eve persuaded Adam to do the same. As a result, what was not originally a sin became a sin. They were ashamed of their nakedness and expelled from paradise. That's right, the very first marriage is often depicted on the lover's card. But this theme didn't appear on tarot cards right away. The Lover's card in the first tarot decks tells a completely different story. The Lover's cards of the Visconti Sforza deck depict a man and a woman facing each other, holding hands. The couple is not Adam and Eve, as they are dressed in 15th century fashion. Above them is Cupid, the ancient Roman god of love, with arrows in his hands. His eyes are blindfolded, and he doesn't know whom he will strike. Love is blind here. Even more unexpectedly, the card of the deck of King Charles VI looks. Here, there are 3 couples of lovers, and above them, 2 cupids with bows and arrows. This means that some will be struck by love, while others will not. For the first time, we see the mystery of marriage in the Etteilla deck. I've already talked about the differences in the Etteilla deck from others. It doesn't have the Lover's card but instead has the Marriage card, which has another name on the side, High Priest. The illustration matches the name. In the center is the priest, with the groom and bride on either side of him. So, for the first time on a card, we see the blessing of the forming family. Nearly 2 centuries later, on the Lover's card of the rider-waite deck, Adam and Eve finally appear, and the position of the priest is taken by Archangel Raphael. According to the Book of Enoch, in the Old Testament, Raphael is the second in the hierarchy of archangels. It is he who will sound the trumpet when Judgment Day comes. However, that's not all that the Freemason and Rosicrucian Waite hid on the Lover's card.
Behind Adam is the tree of life. On its branches are 12 fruits, one ripening each month, and it was enough to eat one, to not need food until the next month, and thus live forever. Behind Eve is the tree of knowledge, with its forbidden fruits and the tempting serpent. One of these fruits, in the guise of a serpent, Satan tempted Eve to eat, and she, in turn, fed it to Adam. At the top of the card is the world mountain. This is the center of the world, and at its foot grows that very tree of life.
Finally, we saw what John Milton described in Paradise Lost. The creator of the Thoth tarot deck, Aleister Crowley, also depicts on the card the lover's moment of marriage. But it's not Adam and Eve at all. Moreover, he adds a second title to the card, the twins.
In the hands of the king is the spear of destiny, the spear that a Roman legionnaire thrust into Christ to ease his suffering. In the hands of the queen is the Holy Grail, the cup from which Christ drank at the Last Supper and into which later collected the blood from his wounds. The king is accompanied by a red lion and the queen by a white eagle.
According to Crowley's intention, this card is a summary of the book, The Chemical Wedding of Christian Rosenkreuz. This canonical text for Rosicrucians has real prototypes. It's the Elector Friedrich King of Bohemia and Elizabeth Stuart, who could have become Queen of England at the age of 9 if the gunpowder plot had succeeded. Funny enough, on the actual coats of arms of Friedrich V and Elizabeth Stuart, everything was the other way around. On hers, one of the lions was red, and on his, there were even 2 eagles, though neither of them was purely white. And one more detail. The twin who holds the grail with the left hand holds a bouquet of roses in the right hand. And the Real Elizabeth Stuart came from both the York and Lancaster families, whose coats of arms included roses. In the Marseille tarot decks, the scene on the card differs from the previous ones. In the illustration, we see a couple being blessed for marriage by a third person, and it cannot be said with 100% certainty whether it is a man or a woman. Papus, in his book, Le Tarot Divinatoire, goes even further and directly calls this card choice, and in the image, we see an unequivocal love triangle, a man between two women. It's amusing that this timeless theme is actively alive now in memes. As for Gustav Klimt's deck, it seems to have been created solely for the card, The Lovers, where you can see the famous, The Kiss, by the genius of modern art. It's interesting that the painting, in its unfinished form, was exhibited at the Vienna Art Show in 1908 under the title, The Lovers. Speaking of the symbolism of the famous kiss, it's even more intriguing. At first glance, the couple is embraced by passion, and the golden background of their garments makes them almost a single entity. However, upon closer inspection, it's evident that the man is kissing the woman on the cheek, gently cradling her face in his hands, indicating a kiss of tenderness. It's practically yin and yang, passion and tenderness simultaneously, the masculine and feminine figures united as one in the golden robes. And instead of an afterword, guess what tarot card is the favorite of the internationally renowned agent James Bond? That's all for now, Wanderer. See you on the next journey into the world of tarot.